Hi, it's Mary Terry. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here. I had last spoke about making some houses. This is a house I made with some fuzzy fabric on it, with a fuzzy door and some fun little windows. These all have little holders on them because I was going to make a tree, and I did, but I made it out of these tiny ones that I made out of dye. But I made this one first, and I made this one today, and I thought that I would show you how I made this one because it's a little smaller and it kind of fits in with my neighborhood, I think. I have a lot more of them too. They're kind of addictive. What you sort of need, I think, is just really paper and a ruler and a pencil and scissors. I think those are the things you need, and glue. I'm going to use a couple other tools too because I have them. Happy October. And let me tell you what I did. So with this one, this body, I made a template. And the template I made is on this yellow paper, which I can give you instructions to if you like this. But the one we're going to make today uses less paper. It's a little smaller. And I've already cut the paper. Basically, to make the template, you decide how sort of tall you want your house, and then where you want your apex or the roof of your home. So what I did is I took a piece of paper that's 7.5 by 4. Okay, so 7.5 long by 4, and this is just some Recollections Michaels brand hot buy pad kind of paper, but it's kind of cool. It's like a constellation. And this is my template that I made. It's not perfect. This is not going to be perfect, but you can, make yours perfect if you want to. So anyway, I made a template, and the template is, as I said, 7.25 by 4. And then what you do is you you give yourself a score at 1.5. So just take your full 7.5 by 4 piece of paper and give it a score at, let me find my score thing here. Give it a score at 1.5, okay? And give it a score at 2, and give it a score at 4.5, and give it a score at 5, okay? And then you should have a box without this apex on it. So what you'll do is in the middle of these two scores here, which are going to make the sides when you put it together, okay? These scores over here. And I write front on the front of mine, and face is on to the other back side, and I put a little picture of it, which is my other template. So what you do is you find the middle of this section, which is 2.5 inches. So you find the center of that, and you just make a little dot, and then just bring down your sides, and then cut it off straight from there to there, if that makes any sense. I'm like terrible with those directions, but I'll try to be more clear as we go through. So what I do is once I made my template, and if you want more information on how I make my template, I'll be happy to tell you, is I put it down on my score, on my paper, and I try to find like a part that's square, that's already been, that's squared up, that I've cut with my trimmer. And I just trace it, basically. Give it a good trace with a light pencil. And I cut inside the lines. Here's one of my little scissors with a sheath. This is a titanium. I think this is a Westcott. They're pretty sharp. I like them. And I try to cut off the score. I mean the pencil, because then they're all more uniform in size. Because if I kept going over top of or outside of the line rather than inside of it and cutting it off, my house would be bigger. So if you want that, you want a bigger house, make a bigger house. So this is the shape that you end up with. This is what it looks like on the white side, okay? It's not perfect. It's really wonky, as a matter of fact. So let me try to clear that up a little bit. So there's cut, and what I'm going to do is do the scoring which I didn't do on the other side, but I will do now. So it's 1.5, and then 2 should line up with the corner of that, if you guys can see that. The score line lines up with the corner of that mark there. And then score at 4.25, excuse me, 4.5, and a 5. And then you have your house. And what you're doing is you're making your sides a 1/2 inch so that all of it works. And the apex part of it, or the front of the house, or the back of the house, is 2.5 inches wide. So that's how you get your measurements, okay? And this is just enough on the back to glue together. So what I do is I glue it together. And once I have it glued together, I find a piece of paper that I like for the back part. And this I just took out of a Michaels set of like note cards that you can buy, you know, in the big hot buy. I did a whole Michaels thing a little while ago, and I'm trying to use the paper up a little bit just to have fun with it. But this is really pretty. So I'm going to cut this with this other template that I made. And all I did to make this template was to fold these back onto themselves like this. And then I just traced this on a piece of paper. So I just did this. So then I made this template. But the purple is the template, and then I just use the template every single time. So now, this is the front, okay, and this says this faces the other piece. So the piece that's going to face the other piece is going to be, if you have a white, if you don't have a double-sided paper, or whichever side of paper you want to be on your front, make sure it lines up with the front of your template so that you are drawing on the right side. Because if you don't, it'll just look weird. I mean, it's going to look weird anyway, but it's going to be fun. They're really fun to make. And I'm just drawing here around this little bit of this. And again, it's just going to be very strange and wonky looking, but that's kind of the charm of it. I hope everybody's doing very well in this October. It's kind of strange in Pennsylvania. We had like a summer day, and I've been working a lot, so I haven't really had time to put up any videos or anything. But I really like this new gig I've got going on. I'm selling furniture at a furniture store called Raymore and Flanagan in Exton, Pennsylvania. And it's hard work, but it's a lot of fun. People are super nice. And I've always been in sales, but I've never sold to the boss before, you know, exactly to the boss. I've always sold to like the boss's like representatives, because I always sold to business, but now I'm selling to homeowners, and it's really kind of interesting because I help them decorate their house with furniture. So it's very satisfying and fun. It's a lot of work though, because we have a huge showroom, and I probably walk about 3 miles every day or something in regular shoes. Kind of crazy. So anyway, this is what's going to happen. You're going to glue this together. So you would glue this to this, and then once that's glued together, glue this to this. And then you want to take a piece of paper, any size really that you want. But I think it's better to do larger than the side of the side of it, which is a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to use this big fat piece because it's shiny and pretty. And I'm just going to cut a length of it. And then fold it in half. Okay, and get it, you know, scored down pretty nicely. Now, at this point, if you want to, you can poke a little hole in the center and put a string in there so you can hang it up, or you could cut each side out and just place a little half hole and a half hole, and then glue them separately in, like I did this one. But I found that was kind of like tedious. This is so soft. This is a little Hello Kitty fur that I got from some kit that I was supposed to give my granddaughter, but I kept just one piece for myself. So glue this up. When I say glue it up, use some good wet glue, and I use tacky glue, the turbo tacky glue, because it sets up really fast, and it's still like drying on this. As you can see, you can still see the white of the glue, I believe, right down in here and in here, but it stays on really well. So what I do is I glue the back, and I'm not going to take all the time to do that, but you glue this to this. So this goes inside, or this goes on the outside, either way you want it, just so it's squared up. And then this back gets glued to this. And then this piece gets glued down here. And then once you have it kind of where you want it, cut off the edges of this part here. And what I like to do is ink it up a little bit. I use this, since it's pink, I would use this. And you can do it before or after you assemble it. And once you have it assembled, then you can make a decision on what you want to do for windows. So what I did here on this one is just take this crazy paper here, which I got out of another kit, and just made like long windows. And because it was pretty paper, I didn't really want to cover it up. It's real shiny and cute, and I made it kind of modern, or I don't know. It's no particular architecture, that's for sure, but it's fun to make. And this one I made sort of like a Scandinavian home, it felt like to me. This was part of the paper that I showed you how to make the last time I made a video. I'll try to link that with this video. I made like a little house, a little windows on the side too on this one, and a little window inside the door. So you can do all kinds of stuff with them. They're really fun. And this one I just, made the same body as I made on the other one. These are just chunkier. And I put a little piece of paper on the door and different types of windows here. This one was a very simple one that I made in the summer when I had this paper out. And I just, I did some punching on the edge here. I used an edge punch to give it like a little lattice work on the front, and has a little hanger. So that's cute. I hope that's helpful. I will try to leave the measurements down below in the description of the paper and the paper measurement to start with, but all you really need to do is make sure you cut your house as tall as you want your walls, and then make the apex after that, and then cut it down so that your wall on the other side is the same size as this wall. And then glue it together, add a back, and put your top on. You have like a little house. Okay, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you want to subscribe, please do. I hope to have more videos for you as things calm down at work. Hope you're all having a great fall season, and enjoy the warm weather as we have it. Thank you. Bye-bye now.